Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LG Productions, and you are watching I Watch and Watch. Today, we're covering Beyond the Gates. This is my weekly review. Season 2, episodes 21 through 25. I do appreciate you for all coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe and leave your comments below. Now, let's get into these week's episodes. Well, all right, y'all. So we've had quite an interesting week. I did enjoy the episodes, and there was a lot of chitter chatter on the internet to go around. We'll start off with Leslie. She runs into Shanice at the coffee shop and immediately begins pushing her rival's buttons. Knowing she planted her tacky panties in Ted's hotel room, Leslie makes sure to tell Shanice that the guy isn't big on monogamy. Then why do you want it? You knew that. You've always been the side chick. Some of the stuff that Leslie says is just so dumb. And for whatever reason, the writers be making her the smartest person in the room. I'm like, that is so dumb. Only two people that have been able really to get at her for real at times has been Nicole and Joey Armstrong. Now, Joey be reading her down, and it just goes over her head. I love it, though. But that is dumb, Leslie. Things are getting heated when Derek comes over. Leslie exits after Derek kind of like was trying to shoo Leslie away. He ends up telling Shanice after Leslie leaves about losing his job. She gives him a great pep talk and making him realize that he has options out there. Oh Lord, and the younger set folk. This was crazy this week between Kat, Isaiah, Eva, and Nomaz. As Kat is telling Isaiah that her half-sibling is wildly insecure, Eva is telling Thomas that she made a huge mistake. She mentions that Kat seemed to be enjoying the attention she got from Isaiah. Back at Uptown, Kat rehashes all her familiar gripes, refusing to listen to Isaiah and labeling Eva a grifter, just like her mama. So Eva, who had her own jealous rage when she saw Kat and Isaiah talking, runs her curly tail over to Nomaz and was too busy trying to lie and tell Nomaz that Isaiah and Kat were flirting. Nomaz didn't believe that, and I was shocked because Kat doesn't get any defense. Like, Jacob's the only one that defends her. It's so crazy. I was like, oh, I was very shocked that he didn't believe that was what was going on. So, later, it's like a partner swap as Isaiah and Thomas each sit down with their respective ladies to set things right. Thomas asks if he's not paying enough attention to Kat and thus seeking attention from another man. Crazy. But they get past it quickly with Thomas understanding nothing is going on. He vows to always protect her, and she acknowledges that he's the one person who will always have her back. They agree that they see one another as their future. At Eva's apartment, Isaiah shows up to admit that he wants more than a no-strings-attached thing with Eva. In fact, he thinks that they have a shot at something real. They acknowledge that they're both coming from a background with issues and agree to give their relationship a shot. Declaring themselves boyfriend and girlfriend, the pair make love. So, I might be able to get a little bit of this whole Eva and Isaiah situation. I just don't understand how this jealousy rage to turn into I need something more. I don't get it, but whatever. But Isaiah really took up for Eva to Kat while Eva was not there. Ended up saying it doesn't seem like you're quite a feminist if you're saying all these things about Eva, da 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 da. Of course, Kat wanted him to take her side, but who takes Kat's side? I don't know about this whole Nomaz thing, but I guess we got to see it. I wish that Kat would have chosen better. Now, all of a sudden, he's on her side and stuff. I don't trust it whatsoever. Proof is in the pudding. And then here's the other young couple. Madison and Chelsea. Madison tries explaining to Chelsea that she's excited about the program on the other side of the world because it might help her cure Parkinson's disease. The disease, she reveals, is taking her grandfather away from her. Every every week we learning something new about a family member of Madison. That they got something going on with them. Chelsea realizes that she's been trying to make herself the main character of Madison's story. Then asks flat out if they have a future. Ultimately, Madison says she overreacted. Madison says she overreacted. The relationship means a lot. But she's going to Copenhagen. When Chelsea ponders how they will make this a long distance work, Madison convinces her to come to Copenhagen. A couple that's not even a year old. Jan and Ashley catch up, but are interrupted by Leslie. Turns out that fresh off the call with Vanessa, Leslie wants to offer Ashley a job at the clinic. But I mean, don't they need to kind of like break ground? They don't even have a building or nothing. But Ashley says no amount of money could make her leave the job that she loves. Jan suggests Leslie make Derek an offer, but Leslie doesn't like that he's always rude to her. But Jan points out her pal's reputation would get a boost by helping a firefighter start again. Why is everything, as far as with Leslie, everything has to be some type of propaganda? Like, this is the only way for me to be seen differently in Fairmont Crest's good graces. Like, I want to be seen as respectable. Nobody's going to respect you. It don't even matter the amount of money that you have and what street you live on. Ooh, now this next episode, it's with Anita. My heart went out for her. It really sank. Now, I'm bald, but I'm bald because of hereditary stuff. But now she's noticing that her hair is falling out due to the chemotherapy that she's having to be administered to her body. She reluctantly shares with Danny what happened at dinner the night before, and they have an honest conversation about the difficulty dealing with or even thinking about how cancer might ravage their bodies. Fearing how her hair loss and other changes will be perceived, Anita is game when Danny suggests that they give people something to talk about by controlling the narrative. The two of them get to work, and Anita later shows Vernon her sexy new look. She cut her hair. To say that he's blown away would be the understatement. I mean, she's looking very gorgeous. What look did you guys like out of all of the styles? There was this one that was curly, but it looked like Dorothy the Wiz. It's just gray. I said, we don't need that curly. Not that one, Anita. Not that one. I like the one that was a little bit more straight. Would you call it a pixie cut? Even though it's, as far as my understanding, like pixies, like with the hair standing up, but it's very cut, but she has it more laid down, but you can tell that it's very short cut. I liked that one. Something more like that. I'm not against the curly look, just not that one that I saw. But anyways, news bombs are dropped over breakfast all around Fairmont Crest. At the country club, Chelsea stuns business partner, cousin, Kat, with news that she'll be joining Madison in Copenhagen. And over at Orphan Jeans, Vernon shares with Andre the fact that Bill's having regrets about having divorced Danny. To me, how I feel, I'll talk about Bill, even talking to Andre about this whole situation. Quit warning Andre about that. Andre married Danny. Danny keeps being a bird and running after this dude. Why? I do not know. Look, I'm just not that type of person. I'm going to sit up here and just fight over someone that don't want to be kept. I don't care about this dude coming. Look, we pledged ourselves to each other. I actually was there to help and nurture you back to life when he treated you like crap, and then you go run back? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Andre is convinced his marriage can survive Bill's regrets. Later, Andre returns home and tells Danny that Bill wants her back. As well as he should, she quips. But she is clearly harder hit to learn that Bill is now admitting to people like her dad that he has regrets. When Andre wonders why Bill's sudden waxing nostalgic. Danny admits that she and former husband kissed. So Kat and Chelsea, they talk. Kat uses everything in her arsenal to try to change Chelsea's mind. But to no avail, Kat sees reason and admits that she'll miss her cousin. I don't know how to do life without you, Kat admits. She also suggests that Chelsea is turning her whole life upside down, giving up everything and everyone for Madison. I said this earlier in the week. Chelsea, Madison is following her dream. Your dream is these persons. The dream, you know, that you were so reluctant to tell your mom because your mom was just this type of, had this hold on you. And now you want to try to be a business owner across the ocean with different time zones. Like, it's great that you're having early success with the products that you're selling, but you're still a new company. And now you're just ready to just float and be with someone that you haven't even been with for a year. Just follow them around. It gave me a lot of Danny. Danny ended up following Bill around, and eventually she just went into Bill's world and forgot who she was for a very long time. And I don't believe that you would be the same person following up after Madison. Not saying that Madison is a bad person, but you're trying to follow her and her dreams. You guys are still a young couple. Let her do her thing. And it's a year, so let her come back in a year and see where things are. It's just a little bit much for you to just uproot your life right now. Kat, you know, said things about the family. What about Graham? Some people felt like it was guilt. Well, the Dupree family, they always use family first. That was instilled in them. Can it be used as manipulative? Yeah. But it's so hard. It's so hard that y'all were just pulling for each other, and now you're just ready to jump up and go someplace where you know your grandmother is right in the middle of what's going on. I mean, even you can't stall your plans to go visit or go live with your girl, because I just don't understand why you need to jump where she jumps. Because I promise you, with her doctor's career, let's just say that you just picked up modeling, guess what? She's not following you anywhere. Because that's just not how she is, you know. But y'all tell me what y'all thought about that, because you're the one that's sacrificing. She's not sacrificing. She's doing exactly what she loves. So Bill and Haley, they arrive at the hospital so that they can meet with the new neurologist, Madison, and the new doc suggests Bill cut things out of his diet, with him happily suggesting the first thing to go is Haley's teeth. They also want him to spend the night in the hospital so they can do more tests and monitor his condition. Haley plays the PTSD card to prevent him from staying at the hospital. Dr. Martinez, who is the new neurologist, says that they still need to have Grayson run more blood tests. So Haley, it looks like you're about to get caught up. I don't know what's going to happen to you real soon, but it's coming down to the wire. So Danny tells Andre that the kiss she shared with Bill was a goodbye verity. How many goodbye kisses are you going to have, Danny? She explains that it's easy to get caught up in happy memories, but on their heels come to the bad ones, especially where Bill's multiple infidelities are concerned. Andre makes it clear he isn't going to let anyone interfere in his marriage. And Danny assures that while your chest thumping is cute, it's unnecessary. She ain't going anywhere. Okay. Then later, Danny swings by Bill's office to update him on who knows what. She becomes concerned upon hearing that Haley convinced him not to stay at the hospital, but stops herself. She's determined to stop becoming involved in his life. This dance we're doing is not healthy, she says, and we have to stay away from each other. But as she leaves, he's hoping this won't be the end. Alright, so Naomi and Martin are worried about their significant others. Smitty's source meets with him at Orphan Jeans in a major freak-out mode. The guy reveals that he just witnessed the boss committing a shocking act of violence against a supposed snitch, after which they dumped the beaten victim at the ER. Smitty points out that because of the ring they're trying to bust, people aren't getting the life-saving blood they need. Smitty later meets with Jacob to say Max wants out. That's his informant. This is bad news for Jacob, given that Max is supposed to be his in into the dangerous organization. They hope that before long, Max will text with news that Jacob has been accepted as the organization's new carrier. And sure enough, Jacob gets the text that he's in. Chelsea seeks advice from Anita regarding her decision to join Madison in Copenhagen. Anita insists nobody should put their lives on hold because of her cancer. Anita, I need you to shut up. I would say with all due respect, which I do, but could you stop it? We know you're strong. You just don't need to be strong. My God. I'm glad that you aren't trying to manipulate people into staying around you. Let your family stay around you. Unless I'm just used to that, you know, that you do come around your family. Like, I don't know. It's just like, usually if there's some type of turmoil, something going on, you just show up with your family. You don't make life decisions knowing that this is what's going on. But by the episode's end, Chelsea is telling Madison to go to Copenhagen without her, saying that they'll give their long distance thing a try. I mean, why don't you try for 6 months? And then if it's too hard for you, then go out there with her. You don't know what could happen to Grant in 6 months. You know? Why you gotta give up a whole year's life? Bill shocked Caroline by presenting the birthday girl with a brand new Benz. Why does she get all these cars and stuff? I wouldn't want that for my boss. Ashley and Shanice caught up on local gossip while drinking wine at Uptown. Andre heads over to the Dupree Mansion to do a glamorous photo shoot with Anita. And Haley gets very flirty with Isaiah, even accidentally showing him a nude pic. I said, ma'am, now if that's not thirsty, I want to know how she got her hooks into Bill. Let's get flashbacks of that. I'm tired of the flashbacks of Danny and Bill. Let's see what was your plan in the first place. So, Nicole, she goes out and she's got another freaking dress on. Kyle and Nicole, they have a date and they do some flirting over drinks at Uptown. Things get more than a little awkward when, after she steps away for a moment, Ted and Shanice enter. They ask who he's on a date with, only to have Nicole, looking like $1 million, saunter over to say that he's with her. Ted and Shanice walk away, and she wonders if she got all dolled up to spend the night with a man who's still obsessed with his ex. Look, the signs are there. The writing is on the wall for you, Shanice. This isn't a good situation. Carlton should wake up, but he gonna hang up in there for whatever reason. I don't know why. Where he seems something to worry about, Shanice says Nicole is walking in her power. Because Ted's like, well, I know Nicole, and she doesn't act like this. No, she's evolving. Post you. And she's just finding who she is without you. That's what's going on. After the nurse then suggests that they go somewhere else, she and Ted wind up in his hotel room. Just as Ted swears that he's ready to move on and wants to do so with her, an eagle-eyed Shanice notices the panties Leslie hid behind the pillow on Ted's couch and demands to know whose they are. Kyle can't stop complimenting Nicole on her kissing skills, but when he suggests that they go somewhere else, she puts the brakes on. She's very interested in going there, but not quite yet. And Kyle smiles, saying that he's willing to wait until she's ready. That's good. And now this couple. I just don't understand it. Vanessa and Joey. So Vanessa actually gets to go into Joey's penthouse. It's really nice too. It's a bit of a milestone for Joey and Vanessa when he invites her to his place. She comments on it being much warmer than she expected, and not just because of the fireplace or candles. He makes her a killer dinner, after which she says he can cook for her anytime. Once she moves in. Now she wants to move in with him. But what happened to Miss Independent Vanessa? But he suggests that her moving in would be dangerous, as his enemies would know how much she means to him. Meaning, if he sees something that can really touch them to hurt him, his enemies will end up going after Vanessa to get at him. But she don't care. Lord, this is probably outside of the photo shoot and all that. This is probably my favorite part of everything. Anita. She takes us all to Reed School. But really, there was this clash of the Titans that I think that has been missing from this show. At the country club, Anita gets together for the cotillion talk with Samantha and the wildly skeptical Jessica. Anita talks about her first time attending a cotillion, admitting all I wanted was for girls who looked like me to step into the world and not have to fight. She explains that the event is about you. Coming out and saying to the world that you are proud, and you are beautiful, and you are intelligent. And no other event trumpets that more. Anita says one of them might be proud to laugh at them, only to have constantly eavesdropping Anastasia interrupt to say her grandchild Francesca will be wearing that tiara. There's not a damn thing Anita Dupree can do about it, the Viper snipes. Anastasia tries to read Anita and her entire extended family, calling her Anita Williams, and you had to really get with Vernon to be something, or da-da-da-da-da. Like, Anita is someone in her own right. She's her own artist, she's an EGOT. But Anita's not having one bit of it. You and I are overdue for to get a few things straight. The two exchange pointed barbs with Anita, who proudly points out that she's an EGOT winner, ending things by saying, "May the best matriarch win." Later, Anita urges Jessica and Samantha to be the best Debs that they could be. She then experiences another moment of weakness, nearly passing out. But then she goes still say that she's fine. But yeah, I actually enjoyed them going back and forth with each other. And I would really love a prominent family to verse the Duprees, instead of having these outsiders that are kind of lucking up to go up against the Duprees. That's just not even making any sense. You got Leslie that lucked up to get the fortune. She didn't have to fight or do anything to scheme. Like what? Bill was supposed to go up against the Duprees, but then you found out what the actual blackmail was. It's just like, why would you do that? And now I missed my position, and you were the father and mother I never had. We need that. We need that type of battle. I would love a lot more Fairmont Crest type of shenanigans going on. How y'all feel about that? Mona and Jan, they catch up, with Mona describing her boss Nicole's new look as being off the shoulder, up the hip. I thought it might meet in the middle. Jan suggests her pal is being judgmental. Well, why are you so judgmental of Ashley going out with Grayson? Just saying. While Mona says she's simply commenting on the continuing fallout of Ted and Leslie's long ago fling. And Jan says that you should be cheering her on, not judging her in the comment section. Jan suggests Mona needs to meet a guy. And as soon as someone finally gets a man down, they just all got all these suggestions. Oh, you need to go find a man too. That's your problem. The solution to everything, to everyone's problem, is to get a partner. Remember that, y'all. I know that's the patriarchy way. I'm just being sarcastic. Before leaving Orphan Jeans, Mona crosses paths with Randy, out of all people, and is even a little flirty with him. I said, wow. Okay, so how y'all feeling about this Mona and Randy type of situation? Vernon takes a meeting with Martin, suggesting that he needs to spend more time doing public appearances. Martin doesn't want to put his family on the back burner. But yeah, like, what are we doing here? So, Shanice did, when she saw those panties, she first assumed it was Nicole's. And Ted was like, well, why would you think that it would be Nicole's out of all people? It's not. We haven't been in contact in a very long time anyways, because she still sees that you're still caught up on your ex-wife. Ted, and that's why she's come to that conclusion. And you haven't given her much security as far as even how you're acting out. Nicole's not checking for you. You're checking for Nicole. So I think that you need to just get something straight about that. But the night is ruined, and Shanice just says, I'm going to go home. Ted figures it was Leslie that did this. Leslie and Eva are having dinner at the country club, and they're talking, and the only thing that they can really talk about is a man. Which makes no sense. But they did talk about, I'll say this much, they did talk about the mansion, and she was talking about getting the landscapers around there, and wants Eva's opinion about this. She's like, I don't know how to do all this stuff, and I haven't even had a yard before. And she said, well, that's why you should be a part of this, da-da-da-da-da. I'll give her a point there. But it's always going to be directed to a man. Leslie figured out that there's got to be more to Eva and Isaiah. Eva let on that her and Isaiah are now officially boyfriend and girlfriend. She's happy. She's already talking about where Eva and Isaiah can have their wedding and stuff. And she's like, whoa, wait a minute. She was like, I knew that you would snag them, but you had to do it by Valentine's Day. Da, 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 da. She's like, I didn't snag anybody. It was just by us realizing that we wanted to be together. Everything doesn't have to be a scheme. See, I don't even understand why you stayed with that Alan. It's so weird. This backstory, you stayed with that one man, Alan, for all this time. But you have all these schemes and how to get a man and stuff, but y'all basically call Alan a loser, and you just used him for his insurance money, basically. It's weird to me. But after she says that, or Eva says, no, don't talk about no weddings around here. And she said, sorry, I could be a little bit extra. Ted walks up. Extra indeed. And he throws her attacking panties at her. And Ted goes off. I said, about time. And I also said, too little, too late. Ted, this should have been your attitude from the beginning. And now I'm trying to be friends with you regarding our daughter, da, 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 and you just stay out of my. And Leslie's just looking at you like a joke because you allowed her to get in your bed again. And Eva's over there, Mama. She get on my nerves with that. You know, I just told you about that because I thought that about the dating because I wanted you to get the hint to lay off of him. You knew exactly what your mama was going to do. And now you want to act shocked. Don't act shocked. Derek and Ashley have a talk about Grayson. He just feels like there's something really off about Grayson. He just can't put his finger on it, but you need to be careful, da da da. And Ashley kind of put a boundary up between Derek and herself. Since you don't know how to really respect where I am in my relationship, then you can't really be around as far as that is concerned. So Ashley and Grayson, they have a talk, and they do these trivia games. It reminds her of the time that she was doing those trivia games with Derek, and they were same questions, but they weren't getting anything right. With him, she's getting things right with him. But she wanted something a little bit more deeper as far as questioning with Grayson. Grayson didn't really want to divulge too much as to what is all going on in his life. But he ended up giving her a tidbit of information, and they ended up starting to have sex, and then he stopped and said that he couldn't do it and ended up leaving. Whatever all that means, I don't know. Chelsea and Madison. Chelsea looks good in that red. They meet up for Valentine's Day. She sets up this dinner for Madison. She lets Madison know that she's learning her Danish and test her language by typing in the words that she's saying. And the words that she said, will you marry me? And then she looked up and Chelsea had a ring for her. So Chelsea proposed again. So we went from scare tactic, marry me, to I'm moving to Copenhagen. No, we're going to do long distance to now. Let's get engaged. And this was just in the course of a week or two. And probably like a day, and they're done. Crazy. Very interesting. That was about it that happened for this week. But y'all let me know how y'all thought of this week. Do you think we need a prominent family to do battle with the Duprees? Let me know that. How you feel about Vanessa wanting to move in with Joey? I say no. But maybe y'all got other suggestions or other thoughts about that. Danny says that she's never going back to Bill. Do you think that that is true? Is no boss now new boss? I can't stand it, but whatever. I can't stand that Cat even wants to be with that man. But whatever. Is Shanice just gonna wake up and just say, bruh, handle what you got going on over there. Maybe I'll see you in 10 years. Like, or what? Is she just gonna stay there and be a bird? I don't know. But y'all let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one. Peace.